First we're going to talk about the diagonal box stitch. First I've made a slip knot on the hook. If you don't know how to make a slip knot, this is my free yarn. This is yarn coming from the skein. I just wrap it around my fingers, drop this down. There's different ways that you can make a slip knot. And I'm going to chain 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The loop on my hook does not count. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to make a double crochet in the 4th chain from hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to choose to go into my back loop for this demonstration. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. This first chain 3 that we skipped counts as the first stitch. Now this is row 1 of your diagonal box stitch. I'm going to make 6 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure that your yarn is coming smoothly from the skein. Once again, I'm going to go into the 4th chain from hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm also going to go into chain 5. Pull out some more yarn. And chain 6. Now, this is what we have. Row 1, row to the beginning of row 2. We have to flip row 1 up and insert our hook into the hole underneath the chain that we skipped. You can do this in 2 ways. You can either slip stitch here, or if you slip stitch, you're going to chain 3 and then work 3 more double crochets in that space. The other way you can do it is to join with a single crochet, then chain 2 and make 3 more double crochets. Either way is perfectly fine. Now, this is your first block that we made. That's your row 1. Here's our 2 blocks we just made. That's row 2 because you're working diagonally. Another chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going to go into the 4th chain from hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can go into the front loop, the back loop, whatever you want to make this. Now, you're going to flip again, insert our hook under the chain 3, and either do a slip stitch or a single crochet and chain up. Either 3 if you do a slip stitch or 2 if you do a single crochet. Then you're going to make 3 more double crochets, and then you're going to join again in the next block or box. You can do a slip stitch or you can do a single crochet, and you're going to make 3 more double crochets in that same spot. Now remember, you're working under the chain 3 from the previous row. So we have row 1, then we have row 2 has 2 blocks on it. Row 3 has 3 blocks on it. And you just continue in that same way. You would, at this point, you would make a chain 6, go into your 4th, 5th, 6th chains, and then you'll flip 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. And like I said, you can go under your top 2 loops, you can go under your top loop, you can go into your back loop, whatever way you want to do it. I'm going to go into, just to show you. Then you have to flip up. Insert your hook under that chain. You can use a slip stitch like I just did, or you can do a chain. Then you're going to chain up, work your double crochets here, go into the space under your chain here, do the same, do space under here and do the same. And that's how you make the, you increase in your box stitch. I've completed a bunch of rows of this piece that I was working on. I've got this bottom section to 6 inches. I measured this section and it's about 6 inches. Then I have also 6 inches on this side because we're working the same number of rows on each side. You need to count your rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 boxes along the side. Now if you want to count these, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. It's very easy to count because you know, they're boxes. Okay, now say you've got the size you want and you don't want to make any more increases. Or you might want to increase at one side and not the other. You want to get a rectangle. So I'm going to show you how to decrease. There are 2 ways you can decrease. The first would be to chain 1 and turn, not flip, but turn, just as you would in any normal piece. And you can work a slip stitch along each of these 4 double crochets that you have here. Actually, you're going to do 3, 1 in each of the 3 double crochets, and in the chain 3 or chain or 2, whatever you have here, you're going to insert your hook under just like you would have before, and then you'll make your box as normal. And you would do your double crochet under here, and you would continue here making your blocks, your new blocks, to fill this part in. And then when you get here, then you'll do your decrease. You can either do an increase there again, or you can do another decrease. Now the other way that you can do it is to chain 3 here, turn, insert your hook again under that chain 3 that you had before with the slip stitch, and then you're going to chain up and continue, make your box here, and then here and here and here and here as you did before till you get to that. And when you do it that way, you will have this chain 3 loop that just sits on top. And when if you do a border or whatever, you can work around that chain loop, or you can just leave it because it really doesn't show. You can see this is the chain 3 loop, doesn't even show. I'm going to work this and I'll show you the other end. Now I've finished. Here's my decrease. here you can see your 2 boxes. Here's your chain. Now I've gotten back up to the top of my piece. I'm going to join with a slip stitch here. Now I can continue to increase here by making another box. This will increase it just 1 box. Then I'm going to chain 3, turn, insert my hook under that chain 3 space, and continue to make my boxes all the way up. When I get to here, I'll decrease again. Now let's look at our work here. We have 1 on this row, 1, 2 on this row, 1, 2, 3 on this row, 1, 2, 3, 4 on this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this row. So your first row has 1, your 5th row has 5. So that's a good way for you to know what row that you're on if you're working a pattern. We've got the width that we want here. You might want to mark this as width, because especially if you're going to increase on one side. Now you can work your decreases here and your decreases here, or you can work a decrease on one side and continue up on the other side if you want to get a rectangular piece. Now I've come up to the top of my work, and I'm going to decrease here too. Notice that I did have to join. See, this is my last block that I made, and I want to join it to this block. Otherwise, if you just decrease here, you'll have this just sitting out there. So you've got to connect the two. Now, if I'm going to increase, then I would chain up and make my 3 double crochets here, and then I would decrease at that point, and that would increase 1 block. But what I'm going to do here is chain 1, and then I'm going to turn and slip stitch across. You don't have to do the chain 1 if you don't feel that you need it. And then don't forget that slip stitch under the chain 3, and then I will do another chain 3. See where I am? I'm going to work my block here by making 3 double crochets in that block. I'm going to join to this block with a slip stitch, make my chain 3. I'm going to make another block, join to the next block, chain 3, make another block. And you would continue this. If you were making an Afghan, you might have 50 blocks, but they're all made the same. You just join with a slip stitch or the chain, single crochet, whichever one you're going to do, and you just keep making blocks till you have enough. Now, if you have to get it to a certain size, that's where it's a little tricky to make sure that your decreases are at the right spot. But if you don't, if it doesn't matter if you're a little bit over or under a particular size, it gives you a little bit more freedom. Now I'm back up to the top. So I have a 3 block on this side, and I have a 3 block on this side, and I want to do another decrease. So say I didn't want to do a slip stitch, I would just go right into that. I mean a chain one, but I am going to chain one because I just like to do that. And then I slip stitch across. Make sure your yarn is coming smoothly from your skein. Insert my hook under that chain 3 space. I'll make another chain 3, and then I'll work across this block, and I'll be right back. Now I've done another row. I've got back to my end, and say you're just going along and you know that you got to join here, and then you might forget and go up and make your another block here. But if I did that, you might just be going along, you know, and you decide to make another block here. You will soon realize that, oops, that is not correct. Unless you are making an item that needs to have a block there, which is, you know, not possible, I guess. So that would be wrong. I'm going to chain 1, turn, not flip, but turn, and do a slip stitch in each of these and in my chain 3. And now I'm going to make another block here. So I'm going to have a block on top of here, on top of here, and top of here, and then I'm not going to make another block here. I'm going to make one here, and then I'm going to do another decrease. Now I've decreased at both ends, and I've got pretty much a square. I'm right at the last join, and I'm going to do my chain up. I'm going to make my block. And I'm going to join as before, and I'm done. If your tension is the same throughout, it should be square. That you have the same number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 on every side, if you did it correctly. And there's your square. That's the box stitch. Now remember that you can increase on one side and decrease on the other side until if you want to make a rectangular piece like a scarf, for example, you can choose when to do your increases and decreases to give you a different look.